Another day, another journey for adventurer Adol Kristen. While traveling to the next destination by sea, the ship meets an unfortunate fate, leaving Adol and the other survivors stranded on a mysterious island where no man has ever left alive. In the midst of this predicament, Adol, along with the other survivors, are entrusted with the task of searching for castaways, band together, survive, and find the means to escape, all while venturing deeper and unraveling the mysteries of the island. While resting from his duties, Adol dreams of a woman who is somehow connected to him and the island. How is she tied to all this? Why is the island cursed? And what secrets does it hold? Can the castaways succeed in standing together, endure, and prevent peril? Join Adol and his companions as they rescue survivors, traverse into the unknown, discover the origins of the island, and unveil a revelation that is far greater than they can ever realize. Welcome to Ys VIII, Lacrimosa of Dana. This year, without a doubt, has been quite a banger for me in discovering new IPs. From the near games published by Square Enix, and now this game, which is not only my first Ys game, but as well as games published by NIS. Once again, I am glad to take the leap of faith, as this game is amazing. It has been a while since I experienced an unrelentingly authentic JRPG, in an era where games are becoming too streamlined for my liking. Some things to take note of before I begin. I will be evaluating the game based off my purchase price of $30 on the PS5, which I believe is the definitive version of this game as of this recording. Plot-wise, this will be a spoiler-free video, where I will only cover the prologue, as I believe this is a story that should be experienced rather than be told. So without further ado, let us begin. Ys VIII Lacrimosa of Dana is a fast-paced third-person action role-playing game, where you once again play as Adol, setting course for new adventures. As you might expect, things did not go according to plan, and his voyage came to a halt when a giant creature attacks the ship, resulting in its destruction, leaving Adol and the other survivors stranded in the notoriously cursed island known as the Isle of Seiren. Caught in a dangerous situation, Adol must once again heed the call of adventure, search for other castaways, and uncover the origins of the accursed island. During his time in the Isle of Seiren, Adol experiences dreams and visions of a woman in the past named Dana, who is somehow connected to the island and the events that have unfolded. I'll be honest, my initial impression of the plot was that it will fall to the tropes of the JRPG genre. While at the end of it all, I can still argue that it is, I did enjoy the story that this game tells, and that is all that truly matters, does it not? Yes, it is probably not the most original story you have experienced, but in this day and age, are there even such stories? The premise of Ys VIII is not groundbreaking, but I will say that it is a captivating one that succeeds in accomplishing in what it sets out to do. No heroes with extraordinary powers, special privileges, or being the chosen one. The story revolves around ordinary, grounded, and relatable cast of characters. For example, one of the playable characters in the game is Sahad, who is simply a fisherman from his village. I know how boring that may sound, but trust me when I say that the characters are deep, well-written, and because of their ordinary roots, have triumphs and struggles that you can't help but feel sympathy towards. The same can be said with the diverse cast of NPCs that you will be rescuing around the island. Their backstories are simply a doctor, tailor, blacksmith, nun, cook, and more. Despite their humble origins, I promise that each of them has a rich and very much relatable real-life story arcs, imparting wisdom that you can apply in your daily life. At the end of it all, Ys VIII's story should not be finished as quickly as possible, but rather something I encourage to take the time to interact with the various characters and their journey. I promise you will experience a heartfelt and wholesome adventure. As I said, this is a spoiler-free video, so I will leave the story at that. In a nutshell, while it may seem nothing out of the ordinary, it will pay off if you immerse into the wonderfully crafted stories that await you in this game. Now for the visuals. While titles published by NIS are not on par from that of Square Enix in terms of graphical fidelity, they never aim to compete on this aspect, nor will they ever be. What makes this game's graphics shine is its vivid colors, diverse locations, and strong facial expressions with anime-like aesthetics. While Ys VIII's visuals are far from AAA status, it does still hold up with colorful and detailed set pieces. there is no shortage of variety of locations in the Isle of Seiren, ranging from beaches, tropical forests, swamps, caverns, mountaintops, ruins, shipwrecks, and many more, each with distinct color palettes and design that never overstays its welcome and is always fun to explore. Character models also share this distinction, each with their own unique design and well-drawn character portraits. While many modern games still struggle to create emotional facial expressions, Ys VIII succeeds in this regard that further enriches the storytelling of the numerous cutscenes. It might sound minor on the surface level, but the emotions that the characters express add to the immersion of the narration, especially in critical story beats. Animations, particle effects are crisp and pleasing to look at, while maintaining a smooth frame rate. As far as I remember, I did not experience any performance issues, at least in this PS5 version. Character movesets are flashy and slick, while never feeling overwhelming to see. As long as you keep your expectations in check, the overall visual package of Ys VIII is a sight to behold, and it is easy to soak in the various aesthetics that you come across in your playthrough. With a vibrant, varied, and smooth graphical experience, Ys VIII stands out to be one of the more memorable games I have played. The art style is reminiscent to old-school RPGs that I have not played since probably around the PS2 era, and it is quite refreshing and nostalgic to finally experience this type of game after quite some time. And what would make the experience all the better if it was complemented with great audio. And I am glad to say that Ys VIII also succeeds in this endeavor. I was quite surprised with how varied and catchy the soundtrack of Ys VIII can be, depending on where you are in the story and your current situation. The background music ranges from calm, serene, whimsical tunes to outright adrenaline-raising tracks. Why try to describe it if I can just let you listen to them?
Too hard! This isn't working!
Does it have a weak spot?
Voice acting is spectacular, as each character in the game is voiced on brand with their attributes and background. There was never a moment that I felt it to be lacking in feeling or expression.
Makes my willy want to curl up and hide. But when I stare at this fire, I feel relaxed. More than relaxed, actually. Safe.
Yeah.
I agree. Mankind and fire have a shared history with one another. Fire can bring disaster and ruin, but it can also bring light, warmth, and comfort. Perhaps those memories have been etched into the souls of all humanity.
Interesting.
Can you believe the audacity of that man we encountered earlier? I tried to speak to him and he just flat out ignored me. He was rude about it too.
With a great story, eye-popping visuals, and catchy audio, what about the most integral component of the game, the gameplay? Let's go ahead and break it down. But in summary, I can confidently say that I enjoyed every moment of it. I said earlier Ys VIII is a fast-paced action role-playing game, and when I mean fast, I mean really fast. It is probably one of, if not, the fastest action JRPG that I have played. When out on the field, you must be alert at all times, as enemies can easily pounce on you and deal massive damage if unprepared. With that said, do not mistake this game as being a button masher, as believe me, you will be punished if you simply charge in without any tactics or analyzing your opponent's attack pattern. Even if you have significantly higher level than the beasts you are facing, they can still very easily destroy you if you choose not to engage them methodically. In battle, you command a party of 3 with you controlling one character. You can switch characters with a press of a button, while the other 2 characters act on their own, either offensively or defensively. Each of the playable characters have a unique playstyle and are very fun to use. And to encourage players to play all of them, each character is attributed to one of 3 damage types: Slash, Pierce, and Strike. Throughout your journey, Most monsters you will encounter have a weakness to one of these three attack types, which makes them far easier to eliminate and incentivizing you to swap to the appropriate character to easily destroy them. The game encourages you to experiment swapping characters to perform devastating flashy combos, skills, and let's not forget the finishers. Like many other action JRPGs, each member of your party has their own respective weapon and skills. You will have access to stronger weapons and armor upon unlocking the smithy and with the required materials. Acquiring new skills is achieved upon leveling up your character, picking up tomes, and in some cases completing particular quests. Now that we are in the subject matter of quests, I do need to emphasize that this game does a phenomenal job of not making them feel like a chore or an afterthought, unlike in other JRPGs, where side quests seem like a time sinker to earn a reward. The structure here is designed in such a way that they are actually fun to do. As you venture deeper into the Isle of Seiren and rescue castaways, you will receive quests from comrades and survivors you have rescued, asking various favors ranging from killing monsters, acquiring components, escorts, and many more. Completing these quests will yield various worthwhile rewards that will strengthen your party. It is ideal to complete them as soon as you receive them, as most have a time limit and can no longer be accomplished should you let that time lapse. But again, as I said, these are actually engaging to do, given the game's robust navigation system, user interface, and the ability to fast travel conveniently. While it is easy to dismiss taking on many quests, I highly recommend completing as many and fast as possible. This is because the game has three endings: the bad, normal, and true ending. While the bad ending is actually tough to get, where you actually have to go out of your way just to complete the story missions, the true ending is also not difficult to unlock. Believe me when I say you want to unlock the true ending to give proper closure to the story and the characters. All you need to do is finish all the quests provided and explore the island, which you will be doing when completing quests and progressing in the main story anyway. Again, I want to elaborate that they are legitimately fun to accomplish. I got so hooked into the game loop that upon reaching the concluding battle, I utterly demolished the final boss, which is a first for me. Because for JRPGs, I have a tendency to be so invested into the story that I have a habit of rushing the endgame and having difficulty in the final fight. However, this time around, the opposite transpired, and that is a testament to how well the gameplay loop is designed. Outside of combat, the other fundamental mechanic of Ys VIII's gameplay is the management of the Castaway Village. In essence, this is your base of operations, and where you'll be most of the time when not fighting monsters. The Castaway Village can be broken down to two primary goals: find and rescue more castaways, and strengthen the village from monster invasions. The former is very much self-explanatory, where you explore the island and eventually come across survivors of the ship and lead them back to your village. On top of this being a necessity to unlock the true ending, rescuing more survivors will provide you access to new parts of the island that otherwise were not accessible before. To further elaborate, as you explore around the island, you will come across obstacles or rubble that will prevent you from proceeding further, and the solution for this is to clear them with the help of the castaways. In order for this to occur, you will need to meet a minimum number of survivors in your village. So if a blockade requires 15 villages to clear, and you only have 12, you will need to search for 3 other survivors elsewhere before you can remove said blockade, which is a brilliant and addictive progression system. Like I said before, each of these survivors will have respective quests for you that will further help you attain the true ending. So exert maximum effort to find all of them, as it will definitely pay off. As for the strengthening of the village, there are various activities that you will be provided, most of which are harvesting components and materials, whether through deposits in the environment or defeating monsters throughout the island. Another aspect I would like to give credit of the gameplay is the structure of obtaining loot, because literally every component that you will pick up in the game is useful in some capacity. This includes materials you obtain early game, as you can easily convert them to higher tier or rare components later on in your village. So unlike many other games, every action you do is actually fulfilling and actually helps you achieve your goal to some extent. You never feel what you are doing is useless or a waste of time. The materials you obtain through exploring are used in the village for various purposes, whether it is to fortify the village defenses, forge and enhance weapons and armor, sew accessories and outfits, brew potions, and even exchange them for components you need or gifts for other castaways. Yes, this game also has a relationship system, albeit a straightforward one, where you can increase both your comrades and the other castaways' affinity towards Adol by giving them gifts or completing their respective quests. On top of being a requirement to achieve the true ending, maxing out their approval will yield rewards such as useful items, permanent stat boosts, and exclusive cutscenes. I mentioned that materials are also used to strengthen the village defenses. This is needed in order to protect the village more easily from occasional monster invasions called raids. Raids are this game's equivalent of horde mode, where you will defend the village being overrun by waves of monsters. As implied, the more fortified your village, the more resilient it becomes from monster attacks, making it easier for you to cut down the monsters swarming the village gates. Apart from defending the village, you will also have the opportunity to take the fight to the monsters and prevent them from multiplying rapidly, called hunts. The best way to explain hunts is unlike raids. Hunts are designed similarly to King of the Hill in other games, where you conquer and protect areas you have captured while destroying the monster nests. Eventually, you will encounter a boss monster, and defeating it will naturally result in your victory. Do take note that both raids and hunts have a ranking system with D being the lowest and S being the highest, where D rank yields the lowest rewards and contributes the least to unlock the true ending, with S rank doing the exact opposite. Do not worry if you get a ranking below S, as you will always have the chance to retry at your convenience. So if you initially got a B ranking, you can always return with higher levels and better gear, so that you can easily achieve that coveted S ranking. As you can tell, it is incredible how jam-packed this game is, and I still have to discuss the other exploration and non-combat gameplay features. But I would just like to point out that these are the type of games I prefer than large open-world games that have little fun activities for players to partake. Please, game developers, it is okay to have smaller worlds and have them oozing with fulfilling content rather than large open-world wastelands. To prevent burnout or making the combat and exploration repetitive, Ys VIII also features a mechanic called Adventure Gears. These are items in the game that add functionality and access to your exploration, akin to the Zelda games. For example, early in the game, you obtain gloves that will enable you to climb vines to reach areas where you could not have before. Another is a necklace that will allow you to breathe underwater, giving you access to areas at the bottom of the sea when you could not have done so previously. There will be multiple of these that you will encounter, and is another brilliant method of making the player feel accomplished or progressing substantially, making it all the harder to put down the game. As per standard JRPG procedure, Ys VIII also has fishing. It is quite easy to learn and very addictive, especially to completionists who want to capture all types of fish and obtain various loot and rewards. Speaking of completionists, trying to accomplish everything in the game is made convenient thanks to the game's intuitive user interface. As you explore the Isle of Seiren, you are given rewards for discovering new areas and finding all harvest points and chests. By just going to the menu, you can easily determine which areas where you have missed picking up chests, harvesting, or even places you have outright not even set foot on. The interface has everything you need if you are a trophy hunter, which is absolutely a great quality of life feature. Here we are towards the end of the video, and I must say, this has been a fantastic first Ys game experience. I will definitely be on the lookout for more NIS games worth covering in the future. Ys VIII Lacrimosa of Dana is a great starting point if you are like me, who has no experience with this franchise or games published by NIS. The graphics may not be top of the line, but the vibrant colors, various locations, distinct character models, and strong facial expressions are sufficient to make them stand out. Textures and animations look amazing and run smoothly without any technical or performance issues. The background music is memorable and fits perfectly in both story and combat. The voice acting is well done, appropriate, and never fell short in my entire playthrough. The game is insanely packed with features, whether in or out of combat, that never felt dull or repetitive, which admittedly is rare for a game in this genre. While the story is nothing out of the ordinary, it still delivers a captivating narration and stellar cast of characters. It begins with you wanting to leave the Isle of Seiren, and ends with you wishing you never have to. Ys VIII Lacrimosa of Dana is unafraid of being an authentic JRPG experience that truly deserves a spot in your library, and I for one am excited to try out the other games in this franchise. And that concludes this video. If you are still here, thank you for watching and sticking around, and do consider subscribing if you want more of this type of content. As always, happy JRPG gaming, and I will see you on the next video.